Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nick Spinetto.
This story has a lot of people talking. Every day, hundreds of people park in this garage. Police say the victim was actually walking to her car. We're just north of Jackson, where the biggest concern right now is the black ice.
Well, that's a fine theory, except this window doesn't open.
The details of this story are absolutely spine-tingling. Anyone who drives will certainly want to pay attention. It's all because of that riptide that we've been talking about here. If we walk through here just a little bit, and if you come to this side with me, you can see even more bear paw prints. This is where it's really bad. You can see these bears are just desperate for food. People are certainly helping each other. I can tell you as a Massachusetts resident and someone who went to college here in Boston, this is a very resilient city. People are going to be banding together to help solve this crime.
The woman was armed with a hammer and went on a crazed attack. A 25-year-old Pembroke man is dead after an early morning car crash. Jacob Kipp was killed just before 5 a.m. when he hit a guardrail. Absolutely love that. That was such a great picture to see that. The sun came out and the temperatures warmed up for the second half of the weekend. Perfect for all those motorcycle attendees.
And I smelled smoke, and then I looked in the bathroom and went, oh my word. And then I ran right to my dad and he said, what?
13-year-old Jacob Record saved the day.
And that this child found this fire is a blessing for that family.
They think I'm a hero because I saved my own house.
The ceiling fan in his home on Maple Street in Rochester caught fire around 6 in the morning. Jacob was the only one awake.
The smoke would have started to overwhelm the occupants easily, especially since they were sleeping.
Firefighters say the flames were inside the ceiling. Fortunately, Jacob's dad was able to grab an extinguisher and put the fire out before it spread. His family couldn't be more pleased and says this shatters stereotypes about the abilities of autistic children.
A lot of people think that autistic children can't do it, can't be able to, function on a normal basis. But a lot of autistic children can, and he proved it. I am very proud of my son. I think that he did a wonderful job. I couldn't have asked for anything more. I think he did everything that he was supposed to do and more, and he made sure that everybody was safe. I'm so proud of him. He did an awesome job.
The fire captain on scene Saturday praised Jacob too, giving him a handshake and then a high five. With most of the family still in bed and the fire moments from spreading, Lieutenant Doobie says this could have been a recipe for disaster, but thankfully it wasn't.
People were sleeping, thank God.
High five, man.
Thank you.
He did awesome
job.
Shake hands again?
We can.
Such a great kid. Since the fire was put out so quickly, the family lost only a few belongings. They will have to live somewhere else while the damage is assessed and repaired. Outside the perimeter, that's the big story today. Outside the perimeter, all around this area, all through Boston, people have been smiling. They're relieved as they are starting to return to normal lives. It's a sign of the times.
What a difference a day makes.
And the talk of the town.
It was pretty frightening to know that this was going on.
People in Watertown gathered on Franklin Street where the police manhunt for one of the Boston bombers came to an end Friday night. He was found hiding in a boat. After he was taken into custody, elation, excitement, and enthusiasm spread throughout the city. They were no longer living in fear, forced to stay in their homes.
Relief, like everyone else, I'm sure.
People once again walked the streets of Newbury and other major hubs in Boston.
We're helping out the marathon victims today.
At Fenway Park, another sign the city is back in action, our beloved Red Sox are playing. The spirit here at Fenway Park is one of pride. These flags are being handed out. It says, "Believe in Boston." 3 words that say it all.
I think it's going to be a very emotional game because of the cancellation of yesterday and all the events that have occurred here in the last week or so. I know from our standpoint, it's a pleasure to be here.
But of course, those killed and injured in these terrorist attacks are remembered. Outside a barricade on Boylston Street, a somber silence subdued the crowd as people laid flowers. A clear memorial they will not be forgotten.
People should also remember that during this whole thing, there were 4 lives lost also. And I think that should be number one on everyone's mind.
Of course, no one will forget those victims and the hundreds of people that were injured, but what a way to celebrate Boston Pride today, Shelley, as the Red Sox went back into action and winning their game today. It's the talk of the town.
Pretty scary. Definitely scary.
It must be a ghost,
There's no explanation.
People in Guilford are trying to explain or rationalize this chilling store surveillance video. Just watch.
Elacoya country store employee Heidi Boyd walks away. A few minutes later, this happens. A glass top to a cake display is lifted up and thrown to the floor. There's not a single person in the room.
I heard this big bang. I walked around and I looked and it was on the floor. It took a couple minutes to set in, still freaking me out.
Store owner Steve Bezzoda says there's often a paranormal presence.
We've had a couple of incidents where people have felt their shoulder being pulled, something like that. Oh, there's definitely no string. This is definitely not a staged act. This really happened, and it's really kind of freaky.
For the skeptics out there who believe there may have been string attached to this and it was pulled through the window, well, that's a fine theory, except this window doesn't open.
It's still freaking me out. I've always felt something in here.
What do you think it is? I mean, is this?
It's a spirit. This place is very, very old. Can't make it up. I absolutely believe.
She isn't the only one who believes this is supernatural. Others we showed the video to couldn't believe their eyes.
There is no way that would have been an accident. There isn't any way.
So you believe it's ghosts?
I do. I do.
Whether you do is debatable, but the video is certainly causing chatter and lots of speculation.
I was fortunate enough to be there today at the signing, and people waited in line for actually 2 hours to get his signature and a copy of the book. And a gorgeous spring day here in New Hampshire. These are live pictures of Hampton Beach, and it was a popular day to enjoy the lake. In Manchester, Josh Judge tells us what we can expect later on today and for the rest of the weekend. Good evening, New Hampshire. Thanks for your company tonight. I'm Nick Spinetto. Investigators say it looks like the man was shot by one of the residents in that apartment early this morning. Police say the suspect stole a truck from Milton last night. They were spotted early this morning and led police on a chase through several different towns. It ended in Farmington on Pound Road. It's so hard to believe because most people equate tornadoes with the Midwest, not necessarily New England. So, you know, it's always interesting when we hear in history.
The rainiest days will be Tuesday and probably Wednesday afternoon as well, Nick. So much of the week looking good.
Much of the week looking good, except I'm off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Of course,
so
well, we arranged that just for you.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We hope to see you back here at 11 o'clock. Have a good night.